Hi there and welcome to this week's vlog. Isn't it strange how uh, just an odd meeting with a person seemingly out of the blue and a conversation can bring back all sorts of memories and thoughts. Last Saturday I attended a conference organised by United Christian Broadcasters here in the UK, and I was sitting at a table next to a lovely elderly lady, and we got to talking during a break, and I was asking her what she did during her working life, and she said I'd done lots of different things. And I said, what was the most enjoyable or memorable? And she said, well, I better not speak this too loud, but I worked for a while in the red light district in Amsterdam. She was a Christian trying to share the gospel with the women there. And I asked her because I remembered many years ago hearing a man called Floyd McClung. And he and his wife Sally had lived for a while also in the red light district, sharing the gospel of Jesus. In fact, let me tell you, I asked this lady I was sitting next to, she must now, I guess, be in her 80s, but she was looking back to a time when she'd been there and sharing the gospel with these women. And I asked her if she'd come across Floyd McClung, and she said, yeah, I remember him very well. And she said one time she was in Amsterdam, and she came across Floyd, and he was standing in a busy intersection where people were walking to and fro, and he had next to him a coffin. And he was saying to people, look, this is where we're all going to end up, in a coffin. But where is your eternal destiny? And that's, she said, he was so brave in challenging people and sharing the gospel in that way. And I remembered that quite a number of years ago now, I was at an event in a church in Sheffield, and Floyd McClung was an American guy. He was a wonderful guy, a gentle giant, and he was involved in mission work not only in Amsterdam, but I think he was in Afghanistan for a while, and some really tough places, sharing the love of Jesus. And when I heard Floyd McClung speak at this day in Sheffield some years ago, I bought one of his books. It's this one, The Healing Power of Love, and I got him to sign the book for me. And he wrote in the book, to Steve, and then he wrote, God is greater. And that saying, those three words, has always meant so much to me, to know that whatever we face, whatever issues we're struggling with, whatever dark times seem to be overwhelming us almost, God is greater. We need to hang on to that wonderful truth. And that links in with Floyd died a few years ago, but his wife, Sally, his widow Sally, is still alive. I follow her on Facebook. She's got a web page, a Facebook page. I think she's living now in South Africa. She herself has been through tough times. Floyd, I think he had a stroke, and for several years he was paralysed and in hospital. So Sally had that to deal with, but she also had her own cancer diagnosis, and she's still not in the greatest of health, but she writes a regular piece on Facebook, and it's always full of hope and faith and joy despite all that she's going through. A few weeks ago, I made a note of something she put on there, and I want to read it now because I hope it will be of real encouragement, especially if you're going through tough times. She's writing about a man called George Matheson. Now, George Matheson was a hymn writer. Perhaps his most famous hymn is that wonderful hymn, "O love that wilt not let me go." Well worth reading if you don't know it. Anyway, George Matheson was blind from the age of 17. This is what Sally wrote. A friend sent me a prayer this week. It was written by George Matheson, a blind man who was a pastor and hymn writer. It is incredibly powerful. I wanted to share it with you. So this is what George Matheson wrote, this prayer. Dear Lord, you have made waiting beautiful and patience divine. You have taught us that your will should be accepted simply because it is your will. You have revealed to us that a person may see nothing but sorrow in his cup, yet still be willing to drink it, because of the conviction that your eyes see further than his own. Father, give me your divine power, the power of Gethsemane. Give me the strength to wait for hope, to look through the window when there are no stars. Even when my joy is gone, give me the strength to stand victoriously in the darkest night and say to my Heavenly Father, the sun still shines. I have reached the point of greatest strength once I have learned to wait for hope. I'm so inspired and encouraged by people like George Matheson, like Sally McClung, who are going through really tough times, really struggling with lots of issues, and yet their faith still shines strong. Let's keep our eyes fixed upon Jesus, who is the source of our hope and our strength. May God bless you, especially if you're going through one of those difficult and dark times. May you know that Christ is with you, now and always. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening today.